I'm back on trail. Definitely still sick, but I feel a little better. And you gotta keep going.
I mean, what do you think?
Do it twice. Quick about it. Oh man.
Which way should I be facing?
That was a little detour to Little Crater Lake, which is fed by an underground spring. So the water's super clear and it's always 30-40 degrees. So maybe you remember when I was in Glacier Peak Wilderness, there were these funny toilets in the middle of nowhere that they had installed. Well, last night I met a former ranger from Glacier Peak Wilderness, and he unfortunately told me that the problem was that they were finding so much human poop literally on the side of the trail or in the middle of a tent site that they got so fed up with having to clean it up, because they have to clean it up, that they installed these toilets like every 2 miles through Glacier Peak Wilderness. And that's super unfortunate that PCT hikers, and it is PCT hikers, were so disrespectful of the land. And I have to, unfortunately, come to the conclusion that it's people just being vindictive or something, because he said it was mostly northbound hikers who were almost done and just didn't care about anything anymore, which means that they know better. So they just decided not to care anymore, which is really unfortunate, and I think we can all do better. So let's all try to do better. So it's only about 5:40, but I've decided to stop just to take it easy today. And you can't see it really well, but I'm camped near Timothy Lake, which is one of my friend Allison's favorite places. So I slept for about 9 hours last night, and I do feel much better. I only woke up once, which is crazy, even in my normal life. That doesn't happen often. But I expect the trail to be pretty clear this weekend because it's PCT days, which is basically the big PCT party in Cascade Locks that a lot of people will get off trail to go to. So it should be pretty quiet. So today has been mostly in the trees, but looks like got either a big old logged or burn song here with lots of flowers. So here's the little spring that I camped by. It's actually super clear, beautiful. I saw a frog in it, which is a good sign. And it's right next to this meadow. But it's very cold this morning. I'm not looking forward to taking off my puffy. So this is the famed huckleberry, I believe. People go crazy for these. So this is my little campsite as I'm packing up. There was a guy over here, and another over here, who were both heading north. So, leaving Warm Springs Indian Reservation and entering Mount Hood National Forest. It's definitely a little bit drier suddenly. I'm assuming that's Mount Jefferson, and I'm at Olali Lake. So I'm here at the really creatively named Upper Lake, and even though I took a very long break at Olali Resort, I'm jumping in this lake. Highly recommend. Water was cold, but not cold enough to be chilly. Super refreshing. I feel very good about this decision. Sometimes we have homemade signs. There's Mount Jefferson up ahead. Man, that swim just really raised my spirits, and I feel so good, and I just feel like a badass again. Definitely a reminder to take the time to do the fun things on the trail, because you probably won't ever be here again. Also, what's helping me hike today is a playlist my good friend Bianca made me that's all Spanish music pop songs that are great for hiking. The Beat, which she made me several years ago when I had the crazy idea to move to South America for several months, because I like to do crazy things. And a moment to say goodbye to Mount Hood. Can't believe how close I was to the top of that just a few days ago. I'm sure I'll see it again, but there are more mountains further south that I shall focus on. Adios. So I've only gone about 18 miles today, but it's been such a nice day, and this is such a great campsite that I've decided to go ahead and stop. Nice sheltered spot, got water, enjoy the last rays of sun. And magically very close to Mount Jefferson. Dang. Entering Jefferson Wilderness. I've got about 4 or 5 miles of uphill, but luckily it's been mostly in the shade and nicely graded. Just getting some water. This little lake in the limited entry area. And of course a snack break. I'm a big fan of these forests on the sides of hills where all the bases of the trees are bent. And then the trees start to grow upward. It's very funky. So what's crazy is that just this morning I was on the exact opposite side of Mount Jefferson. And look how far I've come. Mount Jefferson! Oh, man. Big burn zone to hike through. Luckily, it's not too hot. But look at all that. So that is the North Sister Mountain to the left, and that craggly thing to the right is the Three-Fingered Jack. It's morning. I've only got 14 miles to the highway where hopefully I can get a ride to Bend. It's already sunny and warm. I'll be quickly taking off some layers. So there's Black Butte. Then the little crags in the distance are Broken Top. Then the Sisters. The little Shark's Tooth looking one is Mount Washington. The guy I met on the trail, really nice guy named Kermit, told me about this neat app called Peak Finder, and it's augmented reality, so you can just hold up your phone to the landscape and it will identify all the mountains for you, which is really great. That was something I really felt I was lacking when I did the JMT last year, because I didn't know the names of so many of the amazing smaller mountains that you go by. So I'm in a burn zone, but look at this neat, cool little grove that managed to not get burnt. Shade. So this is super fascinating to me. This tree just decomposed into beautiful little chips. Nature is amazing. So this is Three-Fingered Jack. Pretty cool mountain, but terrible name. Doesn't make any sense. So if you know the indigenous name, which I'm sure is probably better, drop some knowledge on me, and let's start a movement to change the name back to its original. So I had an interesting experience chatting with a group of younger guys last night, and we talked about Washington a little bit, and one of them was saying how angry he was about the state of the trail in parts of Washington, which some parts were really overgrown and flooded, but I always just kind of viewed it as all part of the experience. I really do complain about the state of the trail. This is what that same ranger from Glacier Peak told me, is that they would get complaints all the time about the state of the trail, even though they spend a huge majority of their time working on the PCT and neglecting other trails in the area. So I'm here in Bend, and I got another awesome, delicious package of fruit and cookies and dried fruit from Frog Hollow, my favorite farm.